But this time, in sharing my dad's story, this was the first time I wasn't scared. This was the first time that I went in confident. And I was like, you know what? There's people out there that only know a portion of my dad's story. They only know him from 20 years ago, or they only know him from 2 years ago. They don't have this full picture of who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was lucky enough to witness, this full picture of who he was. My dad changed a lot over the years. And I wanted to get up and convey that, because I always think it's interesting when you go to a funeral and people start talking about how great this guy was. And you kind of look over to your friend and you're like, I don't know, he really wasn't that great.
I did a service once, and I talked to this little guy. He was about 8 years old. I said, so this was your great uncle? And he said, he wasn't that great.
That's hilarious.
But you're right. I mean, I will gather with a family and I'll talk to some people, and usually I get to the truth, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes if it's a small group and they want to stick to their narrative, that's what they're going to do. Yeah. And when I speak from their narrative, I see people in the audience go, and I go, uh-oh. They snuck one by me.
Yeah.
They snuck one by me. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was kind of my chance to be like, if you knew my dad 20 years ago, you did know the man who struggled and went through hardship and struggled with alcohol and all of these things. You did know that, but I want you to know that over the last 10, 11 years, he changed. And I wanted I want you to see that just because you only know someone for 2 or 3 years of their life, you don't know their whole story.
Yeah. And I want to get to that story, but I just want to say this is so true. I will talk to a family about this guy and they'll become obsessed with this time period. Like, well, this is the last 4 years. And they talk about their illnesses, and maybe they'll talk about it. I said, but this looks to me like this man had at least 4 chapters. Tell me about this chapter. And they'll go, oh, and then but it's amazing how sometimes they become myopic and they just want to look at the part that they want to look at. And they don't realize this person transitioned. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about this. Tell us about your dad.
Yeah. So, growing up, my dad was pretty great. When I was younger, I grew up.
Your dad's name is?
Roger Bly.
Roger Bly.
Yep. So I grew up in Sioux Falls near McKinnon Park, and this was his childhood home that he grew up in, and we ended up, living there as well. And my childhood, I just remember him in the garage all the time. He was a carpenter, construction worker. And so I always just remember him building something, making something in the garage, his oldies music playing on the 8-track tape player that he had in there. And he was a pretty great dad. And
was it just you, or do you have brothers and sisters?
Yep. I have a younger brother. So he's 7 years younger than me, which is interesting because I got this really great version of my dad that my brother never knew until he was older. My brother didn't know this section of my dad.
So your dad, when you were a little kid, your dad was the great dad, and there's great pictures you've shared about him. Wow, this looks like this father-daughter. It's just idyllic.
Yeah.
And then we have the middle section where that kind of fell away. Maybe your brother didn't see that part of that. Okay.
Yeah. So he didn't see that great part. And then when I was in 3rd grade, my dad got in a really bad car accident. He broke his neck and broke his back. And I think that with the struggles of the medical bills, the trauma, the losing, he was a construction worker. He couldn't go back to work. And so with that, I think he lost himself. And I think, breaking his neck, breaking his back, it actually broke his spirit. It broke who he was.